Hey everyone, and welcome to Isms by Josie. Today I'm going to be continuing with my Crochet Cafe lunch series, and today we're going to be doing the Octopus Hot Dog. Yes, for my returning subscribers, thank you so much for tuning in, and for my new viewers, please consider subscribing, share, hit that like button, leave a comment below, and click on that notification bell for future videos. So today, you guys, we are going to continue with our lunch series with the Crochet Cafe booklet. If you are interested into getting this book, I do have the Amazon link in the description box below. I am not an affiliate. I just happened to find this on Amazon, trying to look for some projects that I can gift to my goddaughter. So I've got like a couple more weeks to finish this. I am going to be dating these videos, so I you know, maybe by the time you watch this, I've already sent it. But I do have a mix of other projects that I gotta do, so just be patient. I will be getting through all the projects that have been requested. At any rate, last video we made the bento box. Again, if you wanted to stiffen up these walls, I would do like a second and then sew cardboard pieces in. But this is looking fairly cute. It doesn't have a lid, but yeah, we're going to continue on with this octopus. Seemingly not a normal piece of lunch that you would find here in America, but you know, I grew up with actually not octopus but squid in my lunch as a kid, so you know, whatever, but it's very good. So this is not something foreign to me, but if you don't want to put this in your bento box, you could always just use it as like a merry time buddy, you know. Anyway, so let's get this started. We're going to be doing a magic ring. This requires a 3.75 millimeter hook. I only have a 3.5 millimeter. I thought I had every one, but I was wrong. It also says red yarn, but in this bento box, if you've seen the previous videos, it comes with tomatoes, and I'm using red yarn for the tomato. I wanted the octopus to stand out different, and the only other color that I had is this kind of like magenta one. So we're just going to use that, whatever. It is what it is. It could be like a marinated octopus. But yeah, in this video, it's just a supplement to the booklet. So if you want to make these projects, I would suggest getting this booklet for yourself. There's tons of projects that you can do. It's super fun, which is why I ended up getting it. And I'll be going over new stitches at least 3 times, step by step, and then I'll be going over the instructions, especially if it seems a little wish-washy to me. Hopefully I can kind of break it down so that it's easier to understand. If you need to speed up or slow down the video, go ahead and click on the gear button in the corner. There's playback options to go fast or slow. If you don't need to hear me speak, you can lower the volume on your device, and then you can click on the CC closed caption button. Alright, so let's get straight to it. So I'm going to take my red yarn and we're going to make a magic ring. So to make this magic ring, you're going to need the end piece here, and you want to wrap it around your finger at least 3 times, right? And then you have this little bit of lip over your index finger, because we're going to take our middle and just hold it down. At this point, you can straighten out your 3 strands. You can tighten it up if it's too loose, but we're going to take the hook and we're going to slip it just under the 3 strands like this. So I'm going to drag the hook back underneath, but I'm going to pull this strand underneath these 2. So let's do that now. Alright, so we have something like this. Now what we're going to do is yarn over. So it's basically putting this yarn over the hook. So yarn over like that. It's as simple as that. And we're going to pull this yarn through this loop. Just like that. So at this point here, everything's kind of closed into this little stitch. We can let go of our middle finger. We can slip the loops off of our index finger, and now we have the makings of our magic ring. Okay, 2 loops here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put in the required number of single crochet stitches. I'm going to show you how to do a single crochet stitch, and then I'm going to, move on with the next stuff. Alright, so to do a single crochet stitch, stick your hook into the loops like this, right? Then we're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull up a loop. So now you have 2 loops onto your hook. Then we're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull through 2 loops. And that is a single crochet stitch. Let me show you this 2 more times. So into the loops, put in your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then yarn over, and we're going to pull through those 2 loops. Okay, so now we have 2 single crochet stitches. One more with you guys. Into the magic ring, put in your hook, we're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops. So before I move ahead with the rest of the single crochet stitches, I wanted to take a moment to show you the 3 that we've done so far, and then the other 2 loops that are still in here along with the excess piece. So a single crochet stitch on the top looks like a braid. It looks like a French braid, right? These French braids consist of 2 loops here, the front and the back loop. So when you face it this way, it's the front and the back loop. And this is just a mental note for just the future. The short future coming ahead. Alright, so now I'm going to finish the rest of the single crochet stitches on this magic ring, and then I'm going to show you how to magically close it. Alright, after you do your single crochet stitches, what we're going to want to do is just lightly grip the bottom stitch here. If we're holding it like this, just hold the bottom so it's stable and sturdy. Then we're going to take this excess piece and we're just going to start pulling very slowly and gently. What we want to do is see which one of these 2 loops starts to go into the magic ring. Once you identify which loop starts moving, stop pulling. Alright, so let's do this here. Okay, so identify that this loop is the one that's going in. So once you've identified which loop it is, you want to pull the bottom half out, not the top half, the bottom half. So the loop that was moving, pull the bottom half out, and then you're going to see the other loop start to creep into the magic ring, and that's exactly what you want to do. Okay, so keep pulling that loop until that second loop is completely gone into the ring. So I'm at this point right now. Now we have to make this loop disappear, so what we're going to do is pull the excess piece. So keep pulling that until the other loop is gone. Alright, and then just to make sure that we close this hole, because there's a little tiny hole, I'm going to pull in the opposite direction and up, and you're going to feel a little bit more of a pull. That's the last bits of this ring that you can pull, and then lo and behold, this hole is now closed. So moving on to the next. Now the booklet tells you to get some markers. This is a pack that I have from all the collected kits that I've done. It's great to save these, but I'm going to take a marker and I'm going to mark the last stitch I've made. So when we're talking about the braids, you want to slip the marker just under the braids, so just under the 2 loops here, and you want to make sure that you clear it, that you don't accidentally pierce the yarn. And then you just close this up and you set this aside. This is going to help you keep track of your stitch count And then at times it's going to help you keep track of your how many rows or rounds you're doing, because sometimes like in this situation you have rows 4 through 10 with the same instruction. You can use these to help you keep count, because either you get lost in the zone and then you lose count, or you get distracted, or you got to stop for a day or a week or a month or what have you. So these are good to get. You can get them at the hobby store for a few dollars. You can get them online, or yeah, just keep the kits that you get. There's kits at the dollar store, Five Below, stuff like that. Alright, maybe not Five Below, I haven't seen them there yet. Alright, so in the next row we have to do increasing stitches. So let me show you what an increasing stitch is. Basically, we take one stitch and we're putting 2 single crochet stitches in it. So where I am here at this point, I'm going to count back my stitches to make sure I have the right number of stitches on this round. Alright, I'm going to stick my hook into that last stitch. Alright, I'm going to do 2 single crochet stitches in this one here. So yarn over, pull up a loop. So you have 2 loops, yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. Then into the same stitch, stick in your hook. We're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, then you have 2 loops, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. So I'm not sure if you can see what's going on here, but in this one stitch we have the 2 single crochet stitches. So let me show you how to do this again. Into the next into the next stitch, put in your hook. We're going to put 2 single crochet stitches in here. So yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Into the same stitch, put in your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Alright, one more time with you guys. Into the next stitch, put in your hook. We're going to do 2 single crochet stitches in here, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Then into the same stitch, put in your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. So if we take a look at what we've done so far, you can see that we pretty much doubled our stitches. And we're going to move on to the rest of this round so you can complete it as well. Alright, now once you've completed this round, we have this marker here. I know that I've completed it because 1, I kept count, 2, also I have my marker at the last stitch I've made, so you want to always end up where the marker is. If you don't, then it means that you might have done something somewhere. Not much explanation. Alright, but then at this point you want to remove your marker. And then we're just going to replace this at the last stitch we made in this round. So again, just under the braid, making sure you clear the yarn. You don't want to pierce it. And then we're going to move on to round 3. So for round 3, we're just having some alternating stitches here. We have our single crochet stitch that we're going to do. And then that alternates with the increasing stitch. So I've showed you how to do that. We're just going to do the 2 single crochet stitches in this one stitch. Alright, and then we just have to alternate this. Alright, I ended up in the marker again. We're just going to remove the marker and replace it under the last stitch we've made, clearing the yarn. And then we're going to move on to rounds 4 through 10, like I said. So this is going to be a long one. I'm going to do this one in silence, but I wanted to explain to you these markers. So this marker to me indicates that I am now going to be doing round 4. So when you get a bunch of these markers, you could then say this is for round 5, round 6, round 7, round 8, round 9, and round 10. So whatever it is I'm doing throughout my day, all I know is that I just have to get rid of all these markers here and this one, and then I know that I've completed round 4 through 10. And then of course this is all just single crochet stitches. So I'm gonna go about this in silence. You can follow along. Oops, let's not hit my stuff here. And then slow down, speed up the video like I said, but we're gonna do this in silence. And if you're wondering, I like doing this. I don't know why. It's just easier for me. This is how I grew up doing this. There are other ways of holding your feeder yarn, so more daintier ways, but I don't do that. So. Alright, I wanted to pop back in because if you get to a certain point like this, your project's going to start wanting to curl in, making it look like a bowl. So what you want to do is invert this and flip it inside out, because this right now is the outside you're looking, the inside you're looking at, and the inside is actually the outside. If that makes sense. So let's flip this inside out. Okay. And then you can continue about your crocheting. Keep your markers in. And we can continue on with our project. Alright, so I have to sew up the eyes now. So I'm gonna get some of this embroidery floss. They're using black safety eyes and black embroidery floss to sew on the mouth. I have used black so much in the kits and cross-stitching kits that I've done, so I don't really have black. But I am going to use this lighter shade. I chose this shade because I think this is similar to the color in the book. So, you know, I didn't have this color in yarn, but might as well make the face close enough to this color. And I'm not hating on this color. I mean, you know, it looks like one of those, it looks like when you cook an octopus, there's that darker color, purpley color on the skin. So, alright, so let me just cut this. And I'm going to take a needle, a plastic needle that I have. I'm going to thread this up. Alright, so it says add the safety eyes, placing them between rounds 7 and 8, about 2 inches apart, and sew on the mouth. Now, I don't want this to get in my way, so I'm going to pull a huge loop with my hook, and I'm going to remove my hook. That way I don't have to worry about this dangling around, and I don't have to worry about losing the stitch, because I would have to really pull this guy for a very long time before I lose the loop. So we're going to count, we're going to find actually the best spot to put this. So where we had started the next rounds, you might not want to choose that because you can kind of faintly see this slash going here. So, and what I don't like about spirals is, look, the rows are rounds are never going to be even. So when you count, it's like, make sure you count in the same spot every time. Since there's kind of like a natural fold, or maybe it should be in the back. Yeah, maybe we'll just do that. Like, I would make it fall in a natural fold, but you know, we're going to be stuffing this at the end of the day. A fold, it's not going to really matter. Alright, so we're going to count between 7 and 8 rows. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8 is here, so we're going to stick the eyes here. So we're going to come up between 7 and 8, let's say about here. And I'm going to leave a little bit of tail so that I can tie this together in the end. Alright, and then I'm just going to make it a stitch wide. If you are sewing this in, you're going to have to make a few passes, but I'm going to make this a stitch wide, and I'm going to make several passes to make like a bulbous thing. I'm not a great teacher. I'm sure some of you might agree, but I'm trying. I'm really bad at naming things and calling things out. But I'm getting this done, so hopefully you'll be able to get it done as well. Alright. So I should have been counting actually how many passes I've gone through with this embroidery floss, so that I can maintain the same number of passes in on the other side. But I'm just gonna play it by ear, you know, live on the wild side. Alright, so I've got the one eye. Now it says about 2 stitches apart. So here's 1 and 2. I'm going to stick this up here. Alright. And then I'm going to do a stitch wide, again, the eye, and I'm going to do as many passes to hopefully match the other eye. maybe 2 more. 1 and 2. And then I'm gonna do the mouth. Let's see if it says anything special about the mouth. So I got my 2 eyes here. Maybe I'll do actually 1 more. It's this side's looking like an angry octopus. I mean, I would be too if someone was gonna eat me. This is kind of cute, but at the same time a little morbid, because, you know, one, it's not often people are eating octopus, but also these snacks have smiley faces, so at the end of the day, are you really gonna eat them? Are you? But alright, so let's see. Oh, and then it just says sew on the mouth, and you can just look at the photo here and kind of gauge. So it's in between the eyes. I'm going to stick this up. It's probably going to be in the middle of 1 stitch right here. And then I'm going to stick the needle back down into half the stitch next to the left eye. Right? And then you're going to want to leave some length. We're going to make a smiley face. And to do that, what we have to do is first find out how deep of a smile we want. Maybe the next row down. Stick that in the middle right there. You see where my needle's coming up? Alright, that way we can prevent this length to get any straighter, and it can stay down like this, like a U. I'm going to stick my needle back into that same spot just to secure that loop, like so. Alright, like this. And you know what? Now this side looks a little bigger. I'm going to go back into this left side, and I'm going to do maybe 1 more pass to try to make that eye the same as the right. I think the problem is I gotta get up in there and make a loop up here. See if it works out. Right, yeah, it kind of does. All right, so now I'm going to tie these 2 together. I'm just going to flip this inside out, find that tail end, and I'm going to tie this a couple of times, not too tightly, but enough to where everything just stays in place and behaves. Alright, then I'm going to cut this. We're going to tuck everything into the octopus, so don't worry about that. But we're going to move on to the next steps. Just shoving this down in there. Alright, so grab your hook again, stick it back into this loop, tighten it up, and we're good to go. We've got our little smiley face here. Alright, so the next round we'll make the tentacles. Alright, so in the last video we did back loops only, and when you do 1 loop, there's a tendency for your project to start to fold. So if I do back loop only on this side, you're going to see the front loops still here, and it's going to naturally want to bend, and that's how it created the side walls. So now for the tentacles, we are using the front loops only, so there's going to be back loops just chilling out. It's going to make the tentacles fold outward from your little cylinder head here, cone head, I don't know what you want to call it. So hopefully that explains what we're trying to do. It's going to be like this, but obviously there's going to be 8. Hopefully there are 8. Hopefully this is anatomically correct. Alright, so in front loops only, which means we are using this loop here. So in the last video we put our hook in the back loop like this. Now we're going to come up underneath to put our hook into the front loop only, like that. Okay, so what we're here to do is to do some single crochet stitches. So let's show you how to do that. Stick your hook into the front loop only. We're going to yarn over and you're going to pull up a loop. Now you have 2 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over again and you're going to pull through those 2 loops. So we have our single crochet stitch, and then if you see in the back, there's the back loop undisturbed. All right, let me show you this again. In the next stitch, you're going to put in your hook. You're going to come in under and put your hook through the front loop only. See, the back loop is just chilling out here. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop, and then you're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops. All right, one more time with you guys. So into the next stitch, come up under and put your hook through the front loop only. Back loop is just chilling. We're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, and you have 2 loops. Yarn over, and we're going to pull through those 2 loops. So we have now 3 single crochet stitches. The braids are normal. We turn in its back, and you can see the back loops creating this line. So like I said, there's going to be a natural, it's already doing it, there's a natural push that's going to create this seam here, and that's exactly what we need because we want the tentacles to come out. Alright, so now after this we have to chain 5. So go ahead and do your chains, and we've done this already. Oh wait, have we? We haven't. Alright. So I'm just taking this back. So you're like, what the heck? What do you mean chains? Well, let me show you. So a chain is the most basic stitch, or maybe we did, I don't know. Basic stitch in crocheting. All it is doing a yarn over, and we're going to pull this strand through this loop, and that's it. You got your braid, you got your back hump. Let's do another one. Yarn over and pull this strand through this loop. Done. Now you have 2 chains, 2 back humps. You can see it on the side profile here. One more time with you guys. Yarn over, pull through the loop. There, we have 3 chains. Turn it to its side. You have 3 back humps here. Now I'm going to complete the rest. All right. So I'm showing you this quote-unquote anatomy of chain stitches. You have your loop on the left, your loop on the right. You turn it to its side. You can see you have these back bumps. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 is actually down here. I didn't miss that one. But anyway, I'm showing you this because we're going to be crocheting now on these chains, and rather than put the hook into the loops like we do here, I'm gonna now put these on the back bump so that we can retain this beautiful braid. The tentacles are gonna have a nice edge finish. Alright, so starting from second chain from hook, we have to do our single crochet stitches. So the reason why we do second chain is because we have this 1 chain to make the height of the row. So we're making a little row on the tentacle. So count 2 chains. 1, 2. Now, like I said, you normally would put this on like the back loop if we're holding it this way, the back loop like we've done. But to retain a beautiful braid, I'm gonna just twist it on its side, and there's this tiny back bump here. It's worth doing. If your tension is too tight, it is going to be difficult to slip this in the back bump, but it's well worth it because your tentacles are going to have a nice braid finish, at least on one side, but essentially on both sides, because we're doing a single crochet stitch and it's going to finish it on the other side. So count 2 stitches, turn it to its side, stick your hook into that back bump, and I'm going to try to go close as possible. So here are the braid loops. This is the back bump. I'm going to slip it into the back bump. All right, we're going to do our single crochet stitch. So yarn over, pull up a loop. We have 2 loops. yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. So we have 1, we got to do a few more. So into the next stitch, rather than put it into the braid, we're turning it on its side, put it in the back bump. All right, yarn over, pull up a loop. You have 2 loops, yarn over, and pull through those 2 loops. Let's do this one more time with you guys. So into the next stitch, put it in the back bump right here. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and then I just got to do this one more time, right? And we have our tentacle. So oddly enough, this is something that I always do when I have chain stitches and then I have to create a row of single crochet stitches, half double, double crochet, any stitch, because it leaves a nice braid at the bottom and it wraps around and a nice braid on top. So you know, it's in the details. Comment below or hit that like if you're the same kind of person. But it's oddly enough, this book, we did the breakfast series and they used the same bump too. So that was just something that I did for myself years ago and I never seen it in any instruction. So another reason why I love this book is that it kind of thinks the way that I think. So I love that. I love that because if you were to do it any other way, and the universal standard way, you're gonna lose this braid. So you have this like continuous flow around the tentacle, and that's exactly what an octopus is. It's very sleek and, you know, undular, I don't know. Anyway, let's stop talking. Now we're going to do a slip stitch back into the same space as the single crochet stitch that was made before the beginning of the chain. All right, that's confusing, but here's what they're talking about. So this was the last single crochet stitch that we did. They're basically just telling you go into that same stitch that we used and do a slip stitch. Now, your hook is in that same stitch that we used. A slip stitch basically is a yarn over, and we're going to pull through both loops off our hook. So pull through one and pull through this other one, and that's a slip stitch. Okay, so now it says that we have to repeat this all the way around basically. So, and it has asterisks. Sometimes you'll see parentheses, sometimes you'll see asterisks, sometimes you'll see brackets. In this case, they have an asterisk, and we're going to repeat from the first asterisk to the second asterisk as many times as it says to. Okay, so let's do this again. We're going to be doing our single crochet stitches. Well, make sure you don't crochet those excess pieces. All right, and then we're going to do our chains. And then we're going to skip the second chain from the hook, and we're going to put our hook into the back hump, and we're going to do our single crochet stitches. All right, and then we're going to do our single crochet stitches down the line. And then we have to do our slip stitch again. So go into where we did our last single crochet stitch. We're going to utilize that same stitch. And to do a slip stitch again, you just yarn over, and we're going to pull through all the loops off our hook. And now we've continued Oh no. Alright. I hope you guys have been, I forgot to mention it, but I hope you guys are doing the front loop only, which I totally didn't do. Ah! So if you had not kept that in mind, this is what I'm going to do. Oh my gosh, yeah. A lot of people are like, oh, why did you leave it in? Well, because people make mistakes. I'm sorry. I'm going to go back, do this real quick. If you followed along like the booklet said, you won't have to undo everything. Alright, I gotta use the front loop only. And, you know, that's another thing to say about crochet. You do it right, you don't pierce your yarn, you can undo it very easily and just start over. There are projects that I need yarn from, and I'll undo them so I can use them for you guys, so... But yeah, I'm just, if you're wondering, I'm just redoing this whole thing real quick because I didn't use the front loop only. I was going good there. Man. It's always something. But if you don't want this octopus to be in the bento box, you could always just make this a maritime friend. Alright, so now I did my slip stitch. We're back to the beginning of the asterisk. I'm going to do front loop only, you guys. So I'm going to show you this one more time. Alright, so stick your hook from underneath through the front loop only. Back loop is chillin'. We're going to yarn over, pull through up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops. Then again, in the next stitch, front loop only, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. One more time, into the front loop only, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Alright. And now we're going to do our chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then, second chain from a hook, turn it on its side, put your hook into the back loop. We're going to do our single crochet stitches all the way down the tentacle. And then I'm going to do my slip stitch. So let me show you that one more time, you guys. Into the same stitch that you did your first single crochet stitch. We're going to yarn over and pull through all the loops off your hook. Okay. And then we just have to repeat this as many times as it takes to get all the way around. So let's do that. Front loops only, just to remind you and myself. But I must say, this octopus is turning out so super ultra cute. And then after we do this, it looks like we're gonna have to complete the bottom of the octopus, so. Gosh, Dexter's on my seat and he's making me move. Comment below if you have a furry friend that just takes over everything that you're trying to do in your house. was just in a meeting. This is my lunchtime. Just in a meeting, and he took up my seat. I work from home. Alright, I'm going to remove this marker. Okay. Place a stitch marker in the last back loop. Alright, so I had it in both, but last back loop. Here we go. But now I'm just going to put it in the last back loop. Alright. So then it says count 18 stitches, and that's where round 12 starts. Alright. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Okay. So I'm just going to put my hook into that 18th back loop and see what round 12 wants us to do. Alright, so in back loop, we're going to be doing a single crochet stitch and an invisible decreasing stitch 6 times. Okay, so let me show you how to do that. First, let's start with the single crochet stitch. We're going to yarn over, pull up a loop. We have 2 loops now. We're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Now, to do an invisible decreasing stitch, that is basically taking 2 stitches and making it into 1. So how we do that is you want to put your hook into the next stitch, and then you want to put your hook right away into the next stitch over. So we have 2 stitches on our hook, and you know, again, we're using the back loops. They should be easy to see because they formed that seam around the octopus. But we're going to yarn over and pull up a loop, through both loops. And then we're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull through those 2 loops. So I'm going to show this again, right? Do your single crochet stitch. To do an invisible decreasing stitch, you want to put your hook into the next stitch, and then put your hook right away into the next stitch over. We're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull through 2 loops, these 2 loops here. You might have to like twist your hook around and all this jazz just to get it through those 2 loops. So you have 2 loops left on your hook. We're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull through those 2 loops. One more time with you guys. We're going to do a single crochet stitch. Okay, and then we're going to do our invisible decreasing stitch by inserting your hook into the next stitch, and then we're going to insert the hook right away into the next stitch over, and then we're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull through both loops. Right? Again, you might have to twist your hook. I think I just picked something up. Okay, so now you have 2 loops left. Yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. Alright, so I'm going to continue the rest of the way here. Oops, just did it. I don't know why they do an invisible decreasing stitch and not just do a decreasing stitch. I find the invisible decreasing stitch a little more difficult to do because you're stretching stitches. So, I don't know. Comment below, let me know if you end up just doing a decreasing stitch and if it really matters. So sometimes I wish they do like explanations as to why they do certain stitches, like when I showed you how to do the octopus tentacles, the reasons why I do how I do it. You know, it's nice to know why some instructions have you doing things sometimes. Oh, and I almost did it the wrong way. Yeah, I'm so used to doing just the decreasing stitch. Alright, so I'm going to remove this marker, and I'm going to place it at the last stitch we made now. Okay, so begin adding fiber fill and continue. Oh, I forgot about this. So you have to get your own fiber fill. You can get it at a hobby store, of course. You can also get it online. So I got mine at use your words. I got mine on Amazon. Here I have it. It's like 32 ounces. I don't remember how much I spent on it, but it's been very helpful because I've done, you know, a ton of these projects where I needed stuffing. So it's definitely something to get if you intend on doing more of these. Plus, when you have it on hand, you can make your projects as plush, or, you know, firm or squishy as you want. I prefer firm ones. I'm going to make this a healthy little octopus, so I just stuffed all of that in there. You know, when you go to eat something, you want to make sure there's a lot of meat. It's so terrible. But anyway, This fell out. Okay, so, oh goodness, they have us doing invisible stitches around, and the complicated thing about this is as it's getting smaller, it becomes more difficult to maneuver your hook, so it's just very frustrating. We still have a little remnants of getting into the tentacle. I'm going to count back the number of stitches I'm supposed to have. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so that I know where to put my hook. We're no longer doing back loops. We're going back to normal under both, see, front and back. And we're going to do our invisible decreasing stitch. See, like I said, it's very frustrating. So that's probably the one thing. All right, and then you just got to make sure you're using the right stitches. Comment below if you can hear my needle squeaking its way through life. I believe, though, you know what? I think we could probably check in the booklet, but I'm already doing it, so whatever. I think it has you going through the front loop only. So that might be the other part of it. And I know I say that so cavalier, like, oh, but it's going to be difficult either way, because the hole is getting tinier. So it's already, we'd be in the same boat no matter what, how we did it, how we did the decreasing stitch. Any stitch, really. Not a fan. Oops. I just tapped my light real bad. Okay, and last one. Yeah, now that I think about it, I think they have you going through front loop only. It'll make your life easier. But I personally don't like using one loop, because I get it when you're trying to make a crease, but any other time, it's like, it's such a weak stitch. It feels like a weak stitch. And you can like rip it off. Who knows who you're giving this to? This kid's gonna destroy the stinking thing. Alright, so I removed the marker and we have to fasten off. And then we have to leave a tail to close it. So I'm gonna cut about maybe 2-3 inches. I need some space to work with here. And what you do to fasten off is you yarn over. We're gonna pull through the loop all the way out. Then we're gonna tighten up this stitch. You're gonna take your needle. All right, slip that through, and we're gonna close the whole thing by sewing it together. So what you can do is just slip in and out of the remaining stitches. So I'm just gonna do that now. Just go in and out of each one. And once I come back around, I'm gonna pull it. Oh, don't grab a tentacle. Okay, and then pull. And that could be the beak if you want to be anatomically correct. So from this point, I'm just gonna find a moment to tie this together. Slip that through a stitch, and I'm going to go twice inside this loop. I'm not a sewer, so this is just how I do it. Okay, and once we make that knot tight, I'm going to go back in to the octopus on one end, out the other. All right, and then I'm just going to push a little bit down on the octopus before I cut this off, because I'm going to show you that this is going to enable you to make this disappear. So cut that bit while you're pushing down, and as you squish your octopus into piece, it's already gone, but you can make it disappear even more. And here is our octopus piece, you guys. Oh my gosh. Comment below, let me know what you think about this octopus. You can use your little hooky to kind of make these tentacles curl in. You know, I don't know if it'll stay, but put some heat, some friction on there. I'm pinching on this real hard and sliding this off. I'm going to do that to each tentacle. I don't know, you can try starching it if you really want to keep it that way. I think you spray it and then put this on it and let it dry. I don't know how long that would take. It's not like you have tentacle rollers just lying around. There's no such thing. But this is super ultra cute. I just cannot. This booklet is the funnest thing I've ever done, and I really hope that my goddaughter appreciates. I mean, she's 2, so, or at least gonna be, so you know, I'm sure they'll appreciate it for the moment and then they forget about it 2 seconds later. So all right, here's my little buddy. So cute. Let me see, I'm gonna try to use my shot glass here so I can lay this up. Okay, there we go. Yay! And then of course we have our box. You can put this inside your box when you're done with everything, just like that. We're gonna fill it up with some more bento items, but here is our octopus. So thank you so much, you guys, for tuning in to my lunch series. Click on that notification bell so you don't miss a video from this series. And again, you guys, I am going back and forth between this Crochet Cafe booklet and the 5 Below knit kits, so I have a long list of that. I'm going to try to put out a meal series each week. So last week was breakfast, this week is going to be lunch. I think next week's going to be snacks or dinner. And then we have, well, we have snacks, dinner, and dessert left. So I will be postmarking these, but I'm going to make these to where I can ship it to my goddaughter before her birthday, hopefully, knock on wood. All right, so thank you so much, you guys, for watching. This is Isms by Josie. Please share, like, and subscribe for future videos, and I'll see you again next time. Thanks. Bye.